Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a new League of Legends video. First things first, what do you guys think about that intro? I'm thinking about using it once again, but I'm not 100% sure, so I want your opinion. And secondly, and probably the main thing of this video, let's talk about Ezreal. So unfortunately for me, and probably a lot of you guys as well, assassins in this current meta, which is the tank meta and the Cinderhulk meta, are really not super strong because they have difficulties killing the super beefy tanks. I mean, there are definitely certain assassins you can play, and you can probably get away under certain circumstances as well, but for the most part, it is a lot more difficult. So with that being said, I am trying to find some new champions to play in the mid lane, ones that I feel personally that I enjoy playing, and ones I also feel like I can do really well with and carry my games. And the last comes Ezreal mid. Now, Ezreal has always been a champion that I have somewhat enjoyed because I just simply enjoy this spellcaster ADC type playstyle, which is also why I absolutely love playing Lucian. And luckily for me, I have been having quite the success with Ezreal mid, being able to scale superbly into late game, playing the laning phase actually quite well, even though his laning phase isn't among the best, and overall just having a huge impact on the game the way a mid laner should. So throughout this video, like my other videos, I will be going through the pros, the cons, the item build, my runes, and my masteries. And then I want you guys to go and test this out for yourself in a normal or ranked game, and then let me know how you do. So let's get into the pros of Ezreal mid. The first thing that I like is the fact that he's a very safe laner, and it's just simply a farm fest for the first several minutes of the game. You will have to get used to the fact that you're not going to be dueling your opponent very often unless your opponent just happens to have a weaker laning phase than you do. But keep in mind that when I say weak laning phase, I'm simply talking about the fact that you're not going to be probably killing your opponent 1v1 for the majority of the laning phase. But on the flip side, you're very good at farming because worst comes to worst, you can just use your Q to last hit. And he's very safe because his E is able to cover a large majority of the distance in the mid lane, so if a jungler were to come in for the gank, you can E right back to your tower and probably be safe. The great thing about Ezreal mid on top of this is, like I said, since it's a farm fest and you're really trying to go for his power spike at 20 minutes into the game, you can use your ultimate to push in the wave, last hit it with your Q and auto attacks very quickly, and then just simply retreat, maybe do the wraiths, maybe do the wolves, back, maybe get an item, or something of the sort. Or you have the option of using your ultimate more offensively by shooting it top, bottom, somewhere in the jungle to try and assist your team. And if you happen to pick up an assist or even a kill while you try just throwing your ultimate somewhere on the map, then bam, you just power spike even faster and harder. Now most of you guys listening are probably going, but Red, what exactly is this power spike you keep talking about? I have no idea what this is. Well, one of the things that makes Ezreal so strong right now is the fact that he has a huge power spike at 20 minutes into the game, or at least you want to try and get the power spike at 20 minutes. And the way you get it is to get your mana immune upgraded into Muramana 20 minutes into the game, and also have your Triforce finished and your Lucidity boots. That's the best case scenario. Obviously the sooner the better, but hitting all that by 20 minutes, so your Muramana upgraded, your boots of Lucidity, and your Triforce all finished and ready to go 20 minutes into the game, I promise you your Qs with the Muramana active will do almost half HP to their squishies. Another great thing I like about Ezreal mid is the fact that I feel very safe knowing that the longer the game goes on, the stronger I'll become. He doesn't really get outscaled too hard, and he doesn't really fall off either. He just gets stronger and stronger. And Ezreal, just as a champion, has a lot of great poke with your Qs, even your Ws, your ultimates, having your ultimate pretty low on cooldown thanks to your Q constantly reducing its cooldown. Like I said, the Muramana damage plus your Q is absolutely ridiculous. He scales very well. He's hard to catch because you're playing quite safe again, chilling in the back, throwing your long range abilities, your Q, your ultimate, and then eating away whenever you have to. And overall, I look at him kind of as a ticking time bomb, where if you let him get that power spike at 20 minutes into the game, he will be a complete monster. And even if you don't, even if he gets it a bit later, let's say 24, maybe 25 minutes, he'll still be quite strong and scale quite well. But like any champion with positives, there must be negatives, and there are quite a few with Ezreal. The first one, like I said, weak laning phase that can be abused by strong laners, like a Zed, like a LeBlanc, like a Cassiopeia. So what you have to do is somewhat give up CS whenever you have to, get as much as you can, use your Q to last hit as well. Overall, it shouldn't be horribly bad, but there are definitely champions that can abuse you. And even though Ezreal does have great poke with his abilities and a lot of damage output if you use them all correctly, especially his ultimate in a team fight, keep in mind, all of his abilities, except for his E, are skill shots. If you can't land them, I mean, you're not going to be doing a whole lot of damage. He's a very squishy champion with this build. I mean, the only tankiness you have is the phase from your Triforce. Other than that, you're pretty much pure squish, but you deal an absurd amount of damage, so you have to play it somewhat safe and smart. And speaking of playing smart, being able to manage your meter mana can be very difficult if you're not used to it. If you have it on for too long, well, you're going to run out of mana very fast. But on the flip side, if you don't have it on long enough, or the the proper times during a team fight, you're not going to be doing the damage that you really should be doing. So this part does come with a little bit of practice. And finally, he doesn't really bring any CC to his team, and he is an AD mid laner, kind of bringing in the same problem that I have with certain assassins like a Zed. Now this isn't really a huge negative because he's not 100% AD like Zed. He does have a lot of magic damage coming in as well, but he's obviously not an AP mid laner unless you build him AP. So next, let's go into the item build, and this is a very important part. So in terms of starting things off, I go usually a Doran's Blade. If I'm against someone I feel like I'm really gonna be scared of and taking a lot of harass from, and I might need the extra sustain, the Flask and Pots is definitely the way to go. But the main part, which is the core items, is what you really want to pay attention to. The first thing I usually want to do is get the Tear of the Goddess ASAP. Now if I'm farming while in the laning phase is not super difficult, I try to stay as long as I can, and if I can wait until I have enough gold to get the Mana Immune instantly on the first buy, I do that. If not that, I try to at least get the Pickaxe and the Tear of the Goddess, and if not that, then at least you want to get the Tear of the Goddess on the first back. The reason is because you want to stack the Tear up as fast as possible. And right after that, I go straight into the Triforce, usually getting the Sheen first, followed by the Phage and then the Zeal, finish up the Triforce, and then finish up the Lucidity Boots as well. And those are your 3 main items. And like I said, if you can get those first 3 items with the Mana Immune upgraded into the Muramana by about 20 minutes into the game, you're doing pretty good. As a small tip, don't forget, while you're in base and running back to your laning phase, spam your Q whenever you can to constantly get the tier stacking. You really cannot have too much downtime. The Last Whisper is a nice and quite obvious touch that you really want to put into this build, and then after that, to finish things off, I usually like the Bloodthirster because you get nice lifesteal from your Q, gives you the extra sustain that you very desperately need, and then I finish it up either with a GA or a Banshee's Veil, depending if they have a hard engage comp or more of a poke comp that initiates with some specific ability, for instance an anti-flash Tibbers. For the rune page, I usually run Armor Pen Reds, I get 1 Lifesteal Quint and the rest are physical AD Quints, I get Armor Pen Yellows and CDR per level Blues because CDR is just so darn important on this Ezreal build. You want to be able to throw out your Q and your ultimate and really every single ability that you have as often as possible. And then of course you have the glorious Mastery page where I go 2109, you can go 2190 if you wish. I just like the biscuits to help me win the laning phase, or at least get past it. And the mana regen from the utility tree is also nice since you are stacking up your mana pool. And for the offensive tree, what you can do is instead take the point out of the very bottom one where you have the increased attack speed if you crit and put it into the spell and blade weaving, while also taking a point out of the extra percentage AD. So it'll look something like this. But either way guys, that is it for this video. I really want to share this build with you guys because I absolutely love it. Ezreal mid, try it. I promise you it is strong. Definitely do it before Riot nerfs it. It's personally been giving me a lot of success lately and I've felt so darn strong with this build. Just chilling from afar, throwing so many abilities at them, doing like half HP almost to the squishes with my Q and Muramana and the Sheen effect from the Triforce, and just feeling like a true powerhouse monster. Give it a go guys, tell me how you do in the comments below. Also, if you liked the video, don't forget to please throw in a like, share it with your friends, and also I really hope to see you guys for the next video. Peace!